Welcome. We move to the book of Genesis chapter 17. Let us just draw a few lessons, alright? Whom have you been walking before? Who are you so conscious of? Is it God or is it man? Alright, I just want you to take a look at how you pray whilst you are alone. Alright, be it in your room, anywhere where you pray when you are alone by yourself, okay? Then compare it with what you do when two or more people are around. Do you see that? Alright, the lesson there is simple. Be very, very careful. God sees it all. Don't be a hypocrite. Everything that you are doing, just know God sees it all. Alright. Lesson number 2. God introduces himself to Abraham as God Almighty. It's important to understand this dimension, because in this dimension of God as God Almighty, he has all the power, all the abilities whatsoever, and no impossibilities. This is that dimension where he can turn a barren situation to become fruitful. Okay? He can make good to come out of a dark, void, and empty situation, as you recall from the book of Genesis chapter 1 and chapter 2. Alright? Then let's move to the next lesson. Lesson number 3 there. We want to maintain, to sustain the speakings of God in our lives. So Genesis 17 verse 3 there shows us something. You know what? Let this be the lesson. Humility is a key to God's speakings in our lives. In fact, let us rephrase it. Humility is a key to maintaining God's speakings in our lives. Alright? What I just want you to notice there is that Abraham fell on his face and God talked with him, saying, you see, God had come, introduced himself. I am God Almighty, walk before me and be blameless. Alright. Then what does now Abraham do? Abraham falls on his face. Okay? And because Abraham falls on his face, that's when we now see God continuing to speak. So it means it might be possible that God gave you a dream once. You were having powerful dreams, alright? Some visions there, here and there. Or even powerful revelations as you are reading through the word. But what did you do? You allowed that to puff you up. Changed even the way you walked. And because of that pride, unfortunately, you cut down the communication line. Alright. But Abraham knew how to attract more of God's speakings into his life. So he fell before God, and God continued to speak. That's the same attitude we should have, the same heart posture we should have as we are coming before God, for him to continue speaking to us. We are not even at any point allowed to be proud, because pride, unfortunately, it cuts off that communication line. Alright, that's a very powerful lesson, that one. Now, let's look at how God makes covenants with his people. Alright. Basically, we learn something from the covenant which God made with Abraham, that a covenant is two-sided. We have what God will do for you, and we have what you will do, you yourself, to keep that covenant, to keep it alive, or to maintain it and to sustain it, so that it continues to have an effect even in your life. Alright? So you see from verse 4 up to 8, that's what God would do for Abraham. Then from verse 9 up to 14, that's what Abraham would have to do so that this covenant would be kept. Alright, so it's two-sided. You don't just sit back and relax and say God will do it. No, you have your part to play. Alright, yes. Then as we now move forward, you now get to see that there are so many labels which we have been given by society due to our circumstances, and even how we have the situations which we have faced, and how everything has been turning out in our lives. And they have labeled you in some way. Okay? If it is for this man, they had called him Abraham. Alright. Abraham simply meaning father of none. You see? And unfortunately it was true, because the situation on the ground was truly testifying that he has no child whatsoever. Alright? So they had called him father of none. But when God comes now to deal with a man, and as he is walking with you, as you are walking with him, he now turns around these situations which people have been using to even mock you, and which people have been using to their advantage. Alright. It takes care of those issues. So he changed his name from father of none to father of men. You see now? So it's already a testimony of the fact that God when he comes into your life, he makes all good. All right. Wonderful. Verse 17 tells us that we should never lose hope, even when situations seem like there is no hope whatsoever. God, when we are dealing with God, He is well able to make goodness out of that which we think there is no longer any hope. All right, wonderful. So from verse 22 now, we just drew a prayer point from verse 22. Verse 22 tells us something. So verse 22 tells us that we are not supposed to be people who are rushing out of the presence of God. Yes, we have that problem if we have cheated. We are going to continue on this lesson in the next chapter 18, okay? So stay tuned. We want to talk a bit on staying and waiting in the presence of God, so that we don't rush out whilst God is yet to speak or even yet speaking. Alright, yes. So as we finish up, verse 23 now shows us that there is also not only, yes, there is obedience, okay? But obedience also has levels. There is a rate of obeying. Yes, a rate of obeying. There are people who obey quickly. Yes, in haste, a haste of obedience. When God says something, they quickly get to act it out. Some of us in a year, since last year, you have been battling with a call to fast. You know it, that there are mornings we just wake up and we feel like I shouldn't eat today. But you have been battling and pushing it aside. Yes, you might obey, maybe. I don't know when you obey. But you know what? It's been a year. Okay, may God bless us. Let us meet in the next chapter.